Hey guys, welcome to the Monday Movie Memo, where we like to talk about things that happened over the weekend and get you excited for the coming week. And this is a holiday weekend, and we're still contending with Transformers Age of Extinction, which is going to be pretty much the big blockbuster that we continue to talk about through the July 4th holiday weekend, which is coming up, because Michael Bay's blockbuster is going to contend with films like Tammy and Earth to Echo and the horror film Deliver Us from Evil, but I don't expect either of those three to contend with Bay's fourth Transformers film, which is getting off to a pretty fast start at the box office. The film set $100 million weekend if the estimates are to be believed. Actuals should be coming. And if those numbers stand, it means Transformers Age of Extinction is going to be the first movie of 2014 to top the 100 million mark in its opening weekend, which proves that there's still plenty of hunger for Transformers sequels, and for now, those directed by Michael Bay. Age of Extinction became the #1 movie at the box office. I think most of us sort of expected that. What we didn't expect were the really overwhelmingly negative critical reviews. And I'm not saying that people thought that Transformers was going to get a pass from critics. Bay's film has sort of been declining in reception from the critical community for, years now. And by the time you get to the fourth of any series, unless it's starting to fire on all cylinders or, making changes to improve what they're delivering to audiences, and then the reviews tend to slip. So Age of Extinction is sitting at 17% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's pretty bad. And critics are saying that it's the biggest and the longest and the loudest of all the films, and they're saying it's primarily more of the same. And I think that's, even though they switched the human actors, it's now Mark Wahlberg in place of Shia LaBeouf, and it's Stanley Tucci in place of John Turturro, it's still Michael Bay directing the franchise, and it's still Michael Bay and his quote-unquote Bayhem, chaos and mayhem sort of driving this franchise forward. What surprised me was the amount of comments that we're seeing from our readers, both on Facebook and underneath our posts, saying how disappointed people who gave Transformers Age of Extinction a chance were. These are people, you guys. These are you guys. You guys paid to go see it opening weekend. You wanted to give Bay a chance. You wanted to see if this was clearly a reboot for a new franchise, a new trilogy, as Bay has suggested. And even you guys are coming back and saying it's just more of the same, and it's too long. It's nearly 3 hours, and it's we can accept dumb, but it's too dumb for too long, and it got me thinking, because Paramount has already said that they'd like a 5th Transformers in theaters by 2016. Bay has said that this is going to be the beginning of a new trilogy, and producers have come out and suggested, and I think Bay has sort of hinted the fact that he might be back for the 5th one and potentially the 6th. And for a while, before Age of Extinction went into production, Bay was sort of saying he was done with it. He did his trilogy and he was moving on. He did Pain and Gain as a way to sort of cleanse his palate and maybe focus on something non-Transformers-y. But he came back, and now they're going to start the wheels turning on Transformers 5, and the word is starting to buzz that Bay might be back. And I think that that's just bad news. I think that that's awful for everyone involved, for Michael Bay, for the fans, for the franchise, for all of it. I think we need a change of pace. I think we need some fresh blood. I think we all need to move in a different direction. I like Pain and Gain a lot. I like some Bay movies that aren't Transformers movies. The first Bad Boys is still really entertaining. The Rock, very entertaining. Armageddon, bloated and cheesy, but really fun for what it is. Michael Bay has lost touch with that, and I would love to see him get back to the stripped down, lean, mean, 90 to 100 minute, Bay movie that did exist inside of Pain and Gain. It just, it's still, he can't make a short movie anymore, and I'd love to see him sort of get back to that. The Transformers franchise is not dead, or shouldn't be dead. It's a concept that needs to be able to work, and there are film franchises that have shifted gears and handed the reins over to the new directors and improved drastically. The G.I. Joe franchise got much better when John Chu took over. Iron Man, Hulk, if we're just talking about the Marvel films that shifted gears from their initial directors and, some would say improved. I like Louis Leterrier's version of Hulk better than the Ang Lee one, which had its pluses. The Fast and Furious franchise definitely got a lot better when it started going through different directors. The Batman franchise, I mean, it's hard to argue against Christopher Nolan improving over what Tim Burton did, and of course Joel Schumacher. Harry Potter, Star Trek. I mean, plenty of franchises have taken their material and handed it to a fresh set of eyes. And it's time for Transformers to do that. Transformers 5 needs to be directed by a different director. I think that there's just you need to give the sandbox over to someone else who can, take some inspiration from what Bay did, but mine it through a different filter. I think we've seen everything that Michael Bay can and will and has and is going to ever do with the Transformers franchise after 4. And people are still showing up, but the reactions this time really suggests that fans are waving the white flag. And it's just, I think it'd be fair to give them a Transformers film from someone else's perspective. And if you don't want to mess with Bay's new trilogy, try a spin-off. Take a model from the Star Wars people who are, turning this new trilogy over to J.J. Abrams and now Rian Johnson, but also giving you spin-off movies. I would love to see a Transformers movie that wasn't coming from Michael Bay. I think it's time that we went down that path, and I think that fans really want that. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if you loved Age of Extinction. Tell me if you still love what Michael Bay is doing. Tell me if you would be really excited if a headline on Cinema Blend popped up saying Transformers 5 is going to be directed by fill in the blank, and for the first time in as many years, fill in the blank was not Michael Bay. Weigh in the comment section below and continue to read all of our great coverage on Cinema Blend. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Monday Movie Memo.